Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our fibromyalgia support group meeting. And I'm the president of your Fibro group. I'm Cindy Jovanovski. And I'm here to introduce Rod Glupker. But before I do that, I'm just going to briefly discuss the Zoom rules and guidelines for our meetings. Oh, there's Ron, speak of the devil. That's awesome how that turned out. But anyway, excuse me. Please don't interrupt the speaker when he or she is presenting their material information to the group. When a speaker is presenting, please kindly mute your microphones. Also mute your microphones if there is any background noise. Only unmute your microphone if you have a question or comment for the speaker, or if you have a question for us, Cindy and Cheryl, your president and vice president. Please kindly respect the members, the speakers, and everybody else in the group, and let everybody in the Zoom meeting have a turn to ask a question to the speaker. Also write any questions down that you may have for our speaker as well. And then Ron, nice to have you come to our group today. You run a CBD store in Fremont, Michigan, and we connected a bunch of times in Alignable. I was going to have another speaker come today, but unfortunately she couldn't make it. So that was a last minute thing. So I apologize for that, the short notice like cancellation. So this worked out pretty good. So thank you, Rod, and welcome to our group meeting.
I appreciate it. Thank you. First of all, I'm curious, are we speaking to people with fibromyalgia or caregivers?
Yes, it's basically everybody, but mostly people with fibro. And Susan, she doesn't have fibro, but she supports me. Like we've been best friends and email pen pals for a lot of years. So she knows that I have fibro. So it's for everybody.
Okay, good. Well, I'll start with a little introduction. My name is Rod Glupker. I guess I'll get into it. Like, my wife was using CBD long before I even knew what it was. And she introduced it to me. She uses it for stress and anxiety. And I have degenerative disc disease, so I have the pain side of it. And she handed me some CBD to help my back pain. And it actually helped. That's after 10 years of physical therapy, every pain medication the doctors could throw at me, including opioids and the steroid injections, nothing was helping. So when she handed me this bottle, I had no idea what it was, but I took it. And that evening I started feeling relief. So I asked her what it was. She said CBD. And I thought, what's CBD? And she said it comes from hemp. So I basically had to learn everything I could about it. So I started going online, learning all kinds of stuff about CBD, and then started going to seminars. And now I am an owner of a CBD store with 60 different brands and 200 different products, as well as teaching at seminars now. So everything's kind of come full circle for us. And, it's been a great little journey for us. Kind of enjoying it. Has its moments. It's not an easy industry to be in right now, but just a lot of things with the FDA and legalities and stuff. But because we're not a marijuana store, we don't sell anything that will get you high. We just sell CBD. A little bit less restrictions, but we still have some restrictions. CBD is legal in all 50 states. It passed the 2018 Farm Bill, so that makes it legal in all 50 states. There are over 100 different cannabinoids, and CBD just happens to be the most popular one alongside THC, which is the popular cannabinoid on the marijuana side. There is a difference between marijuana and hemp. There are two different plants. You'll not get a high THC out of a hemp plant, just like you won't get high CBD out of a marijuana plant. But they both offer benefits. The difference between hemp and marijuana are kind of like the difference between an oak tree and a maple tree. You're not going to get maple syrup out of an oak tree, just like you won't get THC marijuana that high out of a hemp plant. So there is a difference between the plants, and I'll talk about the benefits for fibromyalgia with both plants. There's been a few studies, not many studies yet, on both THC and CBD for fibro. And so some of the studies are showing that THC with CBD is the best way to go, almost a 50-50 mix. And that's been the most promising route. You can also do CBD without the THC or low doses of THC, and it does show promising results, just not as great as the 50 of THC CBD. Now, not everybody wants to get high, and if you're doing that 50-50 mix, that will get you high. Doing CBD, a high dose of CBD with a low dose of THC, it will not get you high. When I say a low dose, it's usually 0.3% or less THC. 0.3% or less of THC is legal in all 50 states. Once you go above 0.3%, then it's considered a marijuana form. We sell a lot of CBD for people with fibromyalgia here at the store and across the country. We do ship to all 50 states. And the customers that I talk to personally do say that it's helping them a lot. A few different forms that they're using. We have tinctures, which are in oil, usually a coconut oil, because coconut oil is easily absorbed. So when you mix coconut oil with the CBD, it can get into your saliva gland. You put it on your tongue for about 60 seconds. That gets into your saliva gland, which goes into your bloodstream and helps work the quickest to relieve any pain or inflammation. Also anxiety and stress. So that's our most popular route. We also have topicals, which if you have pain in just a certain area, like your hands or your elbows or knees, or even your back, where it might just be centrally located, that a topical would be good for something like that. You can just put it on right where that is. As a topical goes, usually without THC is going to be your best route. We have topicals that might have that 0.3% THC, but the THC molecules are too big to get into your bloodstream topically. So if you're worried about having any THC in your system, a topical might be a good way to go. We do have THC-free tinctures as well in the oil, but those are some good options to go with. And then there's also the gummy bears, lots of different edible type stuff. Edibles do take a little bit longer to work, so they have to go through your digestive system into your stomach before they start coming out and working. And you might lose a little CBD in that process. That's why I usually recommend the tincture and the oil form the best way, and it's going to be the best bang for your buck also. So that's kind of really the gist of CBD itself, as far as helping with pain, inflammation, anxiety, stress. Also helps with sleep. But there are other forms. Like I said, there's over 100 cannabinoids. CBD is popular, THC is popular, but CBN is becoming more and more popular for a sleep aid. It comes on the hemp plant, and it does help with sleep greatly, versus a lot of the pharmaceutical products that are out there, or even, like, I've never found melatonin to help me, but CBN does help. So we do have CBN at our store. There's others like CBG, which is also helpful for a lot of chronic illness and is found to be good for fibro. Also, CBG can be, I nice plant. It just doesn't do as much as CBD does. That's why I find CBD to be a little bit better. But then there's a lot of uses for the hemp plant. And I don't want to get into it too much because this is more of a health and wellness thing, but we do have hemp clothing, which is, you can see behind me, everything behind me is from hemp. Hemp clothing, textiles, paper, you can do plastic. Anything made out of plastic can be made with hemp. Fuel can be made from hemp. Building materials such as wood, and like hempcrete, which is like a concrete, has been really popular right now. And then we have our medicine and food from hemp. So I do have a lot of different food products that have CBD in it, and some just have hemp in it. There's a difference between getting something that says hemp from seed and CBD. Hemp from seed you're going to find on Amazon when you look up CBD. Amazon does not allow the sale of CBD, but a lot of companies claim to have CBD, and there are no CBD in their products. It's usually hemp from seed. Hemp from seed has got a lot of great omegas in it, and it's good for you, but it's not going to help you with the pain and inflammation. So when you're looking for CBD, make sure you look to just make sure there's actually CBD in the product, not just hemp seed. And of course, if anybody ever has questions about it, they can always call me. I'm always available for anybody that might have questions. And I'll be happy to answer any questions throughout this time frame too. But so that's just a little bit about CBD. And of course, there's a lot of different things like side effects. Let's talk about side effects for a second. CBD does not have a lot of side effects. Some people noticed a little bit of nauseousness the first time they take it, but it usually went away, and after taking it a couple times, that went away. It might just be introducing your system to a new product that it's not used to. But every mammal on Earth, including dogs, cats, are a big category for us, horses, every mammal has an endocannabinoid system. The endocannabinoid system is what works with your nervous system. And that's where the CBD enters into your body and helps it find the areas that it needs to help. It'll actually find the areas that are worse off than others and target those areas to help with the pain and inflammation, as well as stress and anxiety. So, and the reason CBD helps with sleep is because most people don't sleep because they have pain and inflammation or stress and anxiety. So that will help in that case. It's the CBN, if you can get, which we have some, CBD with CBN. That's the best of both worlds because CBD is very relaxing, or CBN is very relaxing and will help you sleep. So that's a nice thing if you do need help sleeping. That's the best way to go. As far as other effects with medications, the one medication we tell people to be cautious with and make sure they talk to their doctor about it when they're taking CBD is with anything that's a blood thinner. CBD is an anticoagulant. So as an anticoagulant, it might take 4 times longer if you were to start bleeding. It would take 4 times longer to stop the bleeding. And if you're on a blood thinner and an anticoagulant like CBD, that just makes it prolonged to stop the bleeding. So that's about our worst case scenario, is something of the blood thinner that we tell people to talk to their doctor about. Even though we tell people to tell their doctor, regardless of what their symptoms are, always let their doctor know that they're using CBD or that they would like to use CBD and get their doctor's opinion on it and what they might think. We're getting a lot of doctors sending people our way, especially right now because now the FDA is saying aspirin is not good for you. So we've had an insurge of customers coming in saying their doctor told them to come in and use CBD instead of an aspirin. So that's been something I'm seeing more and more doctors jump on board with CBD and sending people in. So that's the biggest drug interaction is going to be making it a little thinner. But
what about 81 milligram aspirin?
So it would be kind of from the FDA perspective, they would say no. Aspirin right now has been ruled to damage. I can't remember. It's a liver or the kidneys. But they're finding more and more issues with it damaging the liver or kidneys. Don't quote me on which one, but it's one of those. That's
Okay.
why I'm telling the patients to come off aspirin.
Okay.
And what about with the psychiatric medications? Will CBD interact with those?
So when you talk psychoactive, like a depressant, antidepressant?
Yes, or like other pain medications, like gabapentin or bipolar medications, things like that.
Don't take them together, take them about 3 hours.
Yeah,
apart.
they're not dangerous together. Usually if you take them about 3 hours apart, that's going to be your best bet. But most people that start doing CBD have found that they can either reduce their medication or stop taking it. And again, if you have a doctor you're talking to that's got you on those things, make sure you talk to them before deciding to come off from it. But of course, it's helped a lot of people come off from those medications.
CBD for Michigan, how can I help you?
Any other questions there?
I'm sorry, I missed the first couple of minutes. You talked about not getting a product with any more than 2.3%.
0.03.
I mean, 0.3. 0.03.
0.03.
Okay.
It's a very, very small amount of THC. 0.03 is legal in all 50 states.
Okay.
Once it goes above 0.03, then it becomes a thing where you need a medical marijuana license to get it, or at a dispensary of sorts. And those aren't legal in all states. So depending on what state you're in, you may not be able to get THC like that, but you can get CBD in all 50 states with anything less than 0.3% THC.
Okay. So is there a preferred form that you recommend, like the tincture or edibles, or?
Usually the tincture is the most popular. The tinctures are going to be the least expensive route in the long run, and you can adjust your dosage with a tincture versus like a gummy bear or something that's got a set dose in it. So if gummy bear has 10 milligrams, you might need to take 4 of them. Versus a tincture, you can actually adjust your dose by the amount of oil you take. And so everybody's dose is going to be different, and it can go based on the severity of your symptoms, and also the size of a person can matter. So the severity of symptoms can be mild symptoms, medium symptoms, or severe symptoms. And then your size might tell, and that would give you an idea of what you should dose. And usually with every single bottle I send out a dosage chart that they could look and see where they're at and how much they should be taking per day. Now, with that said, you cannot overdose on CBD. So if you drank a whole bottle of CBD, it would probably work, but it would be a very expensive dose.
Okay.
Therefore, taking that much, I mean, a bottle is usually going to be about $60, $65, somewhere upwards of $100 in some cases. So doing a whole bottle would be a very expensive dose. So doing the right amount for your system is the best thing to do. If you do take a whole bottle, it's not going to hurt you, but it would just waste away what most of it would be in your system.
So you said one of the main or most common side effects is maybe being nauseous. Does that usually go away or?
Yes, yep. Most people not most people, very few people noticed it their first time taking it. But yes, it did go away after the first time, and the second, third time, it was much better for them. But there was not a large amount of people. We're talking less than 5% that noticed any issues like that.
I had another question. For those that have fibro, which method do you recommend? Smoking, using gummies, or like you said, the tincture? What do you think is best for us?
So in almost all cases, I recommend a tincture, and we do have smokable product. We have hemp flour that is just raw hemp, and you can smoke it. We also have vapes. I don't necessarily, that's my last choice for most people. I try to avoid selling anything smokable unless that's exactly what, if they want that and that's all they care about, then that's fine. With the smokable, it does not get you high either. It's not marijuana, it is CBD hemp, but it will help with pain and inflammation, anxiety, and stress. The problem with smoking it is you're not getting a big dose like you would in a tincture or a gummy bear. So you'd have to do a lot of it. The only thing I say with smoking it is going to be that it can help with anxiety really quickly. It's almost instantaneous. And that's the one time that somebody's having a panic attack that I might recommend smoking versus tinctures or edible. But yeah, typically I try to veer away from all of that. So I see there's been a few questions, but I didn't catch them all at once. So
I have a question about hemp. Is it dangerous to be around pets with hemp products, hemp shampoos, hemp anything? Or let's say, for example, I know of a friend of ours that came across a marijuana joint and somehow the dog got highly toxic by it with IVs that needed transfusions and everything. So can you please explain how dangerous it can be too?
So hemp doesn't have that psychoactive ingredient like marijuana does. Hemp is not dangerous to animals. It's actually, we sell probably 50% of what we sell is for animals, which is, we have dog tinctures, cat tinctures. We have everything for any mammal, basically for dogs, cats, horses, and everything in between.
Okay.
So yeah, hemp is not dangerous around animals. Now marijuana, on the other hand, can be. So that's, like I said, they're two different plants.
Okay.
The marijuana, which gives you a very big high, is not necessarily good for dogs, cats, or any pets.
We used to give CBD to a golden retriever. She had double TPLO surgeries and made it to 14 and a half. And it kind of got her through, but at the end she had pancreatitis. And I kind of wonder whether sometimes I'd use hemp shampoos on her for more of a lather for, a brighter coat. But I think it was just her time factor. So.
Yeah, we do have a hemp shampoo with CBD in it. It's really, CBD is good for your skin also. So we have it in soaps and lotions and balms and all kinds of different things. So that's been one of our big sellers too, are topicals in that type of sense. Bath bombs are really popular. If you like to relax, I tell people in our store when they're shopping and they're getting a bath bomb, I tell them the only thing we have that's addictive in our store is going to be the bath bomb. Only because once you take a bath with a bath bomb, you never want to take a bath without it again.
Okay. So are you local?
We are in Michigan.
Okay.
Just north of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh.
A little town called Fremont.
Oh yeah. Okay. And my daughter lives in Grand Rapids.
Okay.
So can you use topical products along with like the tinctures and stuff?
Yeah. Yep. So you can use any combination you want. Again, you're not going to overdose on it. Some people, like quite often yesterday, because I did a, I can't think of it. It was an event for the elderly. So we had a little event in the next town over. I did a seminar there too. But I was on my feet the whole day on a hard floor. And yeah, when I got done with that, I had to take a tincture of CBD and I put a topical on my back and my feet. And that helped. So I actually got some sleep last night, but yeah, you can do both or as many combinations if you like. But yeah, most people that do tinctures are pretty happy with just the tincture. The same with the gummies or anything edible. A person's preference could be they would rather do something edible than a tincture. But our tinctures do come flavored, so you don't get that hemp taste. Our most popular one is a spearmint, but we also have orange. And then, like I said, I have 60 different brands. We've got some brands that have strawberry and mint and watermelon or berry, a lot of different things. French vanilla, strawberry cream. We can get into some pretty elaborate flavors.
Do you also have cookies and fudge? Like I'm thinking of a marijuana store might have. Do you sell that too or not?
But we don't sell. So I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first part of the
Well,
question.
yours is hemp though. I was just wondering, do they do cookies and Rice Krispies or whatever they do? Some of these other places made up of hemp. Yeah.
Yep. There's a lot of different baked goods you can do with hemp, just like you would marijuana, except it's not going to get you high. It could offer a lot of benefits. I think one of the biggest benefits that just recently came out with doing actually raw hemp as a flour, which I have done. I put ground up the hemp flour and put it on my salads. So it's just raw. You can heat it up and then it's no longer raw, but hemp flour raw is called CBDA. And you can look this up. It was actually a study out of Texas State University, I believe, or Utah, one of the universities. Don't quote me, but there's a university just did a study that says raw hemp is killing SARS and coronavirus. So that was a cool study. We actually had a barrage of phone calls and people coming in for CBDA after that study came out. And we still have a lot of people coming in that are using raw hemp just on pastas or just like oregano. You just put it on.
We're about out of time on this one. Do you want to switch to Zoom 2?
Yeah, we're down to 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. So I think we probably should wrap up this session and then move on to Zoom number 2 before we get kicked out. So that was a good point. Thanks, Ron.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank
Okay, so we'll see you guys shortly.
Come back in second session.
All right.
Okay.
See you guys soon. Bye-bye now.